Hello, dear friends, and welcome to the next horrifying chapter of Random Rhapsodies, Sonnet of Blood. I am Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and game master for this Curse of Strahd playthrough. And joining me around my virtual table tonight are Brandie, Dyto, and Joe. Say hi, everyone.
Hola!
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
We have a few absences today. Marty is out of town and Natalie's running late, but she might be joining us later. But we're going to push on. But before we do that, we've got a few announcements to get through, starting with the first of our two sponsors for tonight's show, Hero Forge. Hero Forge offers fully customizable tabletop minis with dozens of fantasy species and thousands of parts to choose from. Their easy-to-use design tool lets you build your perfect miniature online using a fully 3D in-depth character creator right in your web browser, which is where we built the tokens for this evening's game. You can build yours today at heroforge.com. Our second sponsor for tonight's show is XSplit. XSplit is a high-quality virtual webcam background remover that works with your already existing webcam. Using this program, you can protect your privacy while you work or play remotely by blurring the background, removing it entirely, or even putting a picture as the background instead. You can download the app today at xsplit.com, and if you use a coupon code RANDOM with a capital R, you can get 10% off of this purchase. You can find our referral link in the chat and show descriptions. Next Monday, we are back with another episode of the Aethertech Wars. Our heroes decided to intervene when a group of guards in the Noman Confederacy tried to arrest a child, and now they're face-to-face with a bunch of guards who are not too happy with them. That's going to be fun.
No, it's not. That's boring, guys. You don't want to watch that.
Definitely going to be fun.
2 weeks you want to come watch the Aether Shanties. That's the fun one.
That's true. We do always have the Aether Shanties on opposite Mondays of the Aethertech War. Aethertech War is at 6 p.m. Central this Monday, and then Aether Shanties is a week later at 7 p.m. Central that Monday. Other than that, we also have a Halloween one-shot coming up. It's actually going to be on October the 27th, and it's going to be GM'd by our very own Dyto.
Oh, shit, that's Sunday.
Yeah, that's Sunday.
I got something to do Sunday night now.
We're playing Monster of the Week, and it's a new system that, it's not a new system, but it's the first time we've run it here on this channel. I'm super excited to play in it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So check that out this Sunday, the 27th at 6 p.m. Central Time. Other than that, you can keep up to date on everything we do here on the network by following us on Facebook as Random Rhapsody TV. On Twitter is at @random_Rhapsody. I refuse to call it X. On Blue Sky is at Random Rhapsody. And on TikTok is Random Rhapsody_TV. And that's it. We're done with the announcements. So join us as we dive into the land of Barovia and continue on with the Conclave Expedition as they attempt to survive a Sonnet of Blood. And we're back. So by now you should know how we do our recaps. We offer up the Random Rhapsody coin, which is good for a free Nat 20 in this game. It's only good for this session, and the bad thing is, if I do the recap, I get the coin. And I would really love to have that coin, because a Nat 20 is awesome in Curse of Strahd. I was very generous when I offered that up. And I'm sad that I haven't gotten it yet. So I assume everyone's cool with me taking it today, right?
Yeah, no, not in this game. Maybe in the shanties. I don't know how you would use it, but
Oh, I have many ways.
I don't. We don't get into too many. So maybe you'd have to make us like roll twice and disadvantage. I don't know. I don't want to give you ideas. I shouldn't. That's a bad thing.
You probably shouldn't. I've already got plenty.
But yeah, I will do it.
Okay, well then, Cog, tell us what happened last time on Sonnet of Blood.
Well, we had the most interesting time of getting back into town. If you remember, the Green One, as he was so poignantly called by the town guards, yeah, they caused a kerfuffle. Big lots of noise. I, myself, Vide, our little bird friend, we climbed over the wall at a more discreet location. And then we all kind of individually made our way towards the inn, ran into Miss Dyto. Well, no, sorry, Miss Delphine. Dyto is the other person that plays Delphine. Too many D's, people. We have two Danikas, actually. One's a NPC, one's not. Sorry. Back into character. All right. They all made it safely to the church. Dyto kind of spirited me into the inn. I informed her. You know what? It's been a long day. Getting longer. Hey, Delphine, I explained to her what happened to Irina. Still can't get over that. Still, it's gonna. I don't know. That's gonna linger for a little while. Everybody, like I said, we got to the church. We talked to the father. We saw Davos, the children. Actually, they came out looking for Delphine after Delphine left, looking for us. And the noise that was happening in town, they didn't know it was us at the time. So that, I guess we're rubbing off on the boy. He's getting a little braver. It's probably not a good thing. Explained things, talked it over with the father. Unfortunately, he wasn't powerful enough either to bring back Irina. So I'm kind of just keeping her in a state of non-decay for the moment. That fancy gentleman that we ran into that was helping out one of the guards helped out Lady Wachter. Apparently he didn't know that we were the ones causing the kerfuffle. And was just like, oh, hello, nice to see you again. He came to talk to the father about a problem. And then something showed up for us. A little gift from Strahd. Invited us to dinner in 2 weeks. I guess that's kind of nice. I want to go, actually. I don't want to tell everybody that, but I do want to go. It's going to be interesting. Left bird feather. So I don't know if that means our bird friend, has been his puppet the whole time, or maybe Strahd just overpowered him like he does everybody else. So we're on our way out of town. We're gonna keep making our way towards the Abbey and go deal with the little House of the Silver Dragon. Hopefully we'll find some answers, because I could use a few.
Couldn't we all? Well, there you go. There's the Random Rhapsody coin. Don't forget to use it, though. It's only good for this session. Okay. Expedition members. You are all making your way down the familiar main road leading from the Church of St. Andrel towards the western gate of Veros. There is a slight chill to the wind, as you approach the gate, which does indeed stand open to allow people to go in and out of town. You can see 4 guards stationed there. All humans, of course, as most Barovians seem to be. All dressed in the same getup of a chainmail underneath a light tunic that displays the colors of the town across them, a leather helmet, a short sword, a spear, crossbow, etc., and so forth. 2 of the guards are stationed on the wall on either side of the road, looking out towards the tree line of the forest, while the other 2 stand at either side of the opened iron gate. And they seem to be looking over the handful of citizens who are passing by them. So my first question to you all, Expedition, is how are you planning on approaching the gate?
Yeah. I mean, I guess, do we see the guard that had yelled and like we talked to, I guess, the previous evening? Do we see that one? The one that had walked, I guess, all the way around.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Where? Good lord. I got so many P's on the skill list. Oh, I guess I'm just 21. I didn't say I was gonna.
Okay.
But that should be good.
Still, it is pretty good. With your 21, you look over the 4 that are standing there, and at this distance, you can easily tell the dude that was there last night isn't there now. The 4 that are there are much older, much bigger beards, kind of graying in the hair a little bit. Just kind of thinking back on it a second, you realize to yourself that since that guard was on duty in the evening, chances are he's not going to be up at night. Or up
Where is Dom and Letty?
Well, I thought we had been taking him around the outside of the town with us when we were walking to the other side, but I guess just because we apparently also didn't say we weren't using a lamp, so they couldn't. The guy apparently just followed us with the lamp. I didn't think we'd been doing that, but we didn't specify it, so can't take it back now. So I would assume they're just kind of hiding in the woods with our damaged cart, because I know we pushed the cart off the side of the road.
Well, I seem to remember that you had taken the donkeys with you.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's like, I thought we had, but I mean, we wouldn't have been able to get into town with them.
You wouldn't have. So you would have had to leave them back where you were, which was the eastern gate in the woods.
Then I guess they'd be, down here somewhere then? And we can go around and get them? Someone's going to have to, I know he's not here to say this himself, someone's going to have to make Urzak invisible before we leave, because they were shouting for the green one. I'm sure that information is still in the lexicon of all the guards looking for the green one.
Well, you certainly haven't noticed anybody looking for green ones or otherwise since you've been walking
and the
around.
Guard this morning walked right past all of us.
But he was also the one that was friendly with us and let us into town after we killed Bee Farm. So he was our friend, so to speak, anyway. That's why I would mention, I don't know if either he knew we were involved last night and just kind of like didn't see us, or he didn't know that it was us that snuck back in.
I can make him invisible if we want to just.
I guess if any, I would say almost just let's do it just in case.
Sure.
Because we don't know. I would say let's just do it as a safety precaution.
So I will point out that in the last session you had all said that you're just going to be walking out. So I'm just pointing out that right now you are standing about maybe 70, 80 feet away from.
Okay.
The
Then let's just let's just cock of the walk and puff out our chests and walk out this bitch. If they say something, we'll be like, "What? Us? No, we've been at the inn. The Martikoffs let us stay there."
It must be some other green one.
Yeah, we have no idea.
That's
Cock's
it.
good at bullshit, and he'll come up with something.
Okay.
My +1 to deception.
Well, with that decided, the 5 of you start making your way towards the gate. Danika and Urzak do kind of hang back a little bit, given that they were the ones who had been seen the most during that time. But the 5 of you are all just openly making your way out, as you said. When you approach, the 2 guards that are watching the people pass, like maybe 30 feet ahead of you, some people went by them and they just kind of looked them over and nodded. And then your group approaches and the 2 guards look at you and kind of look at one another and then give your group a nod and just kind of watch as you make your way past out the gate. They don't say anything to you. You don't really recognize any of them other than, you never actually. No, you did. You went out this gate previously, so
Yeah,
you
we've
probably
been
would have
out.
seen them at least the last time you passed by here. They don't really say anything other than giving you a nod, though, and you make your way out of the gate.
Well, let's take a little bit of a detour and go get Dom and Letty. If you're still around.
Don't say it that way.
Well, I
Come
mean,
on,
they're wild. They're animals that are let loose.
Well, we would have
liable.
tied them up. We wouldn't have just let them roam.
You probably did tie him up.
Yeah.
So
Plus, they know there's nothing but family. They wouldn't leave us.
Well, you do go and you start. You walk down the road a little ways, and then you circle back through the woods, and you're gonna, if you're not wanting to be seen, and you're planning on going the way you came, walking around the town. It's a bit of a walk. You actually have to spend. Let's see here. How far ago is it? Yeah, that's a good 6-mile walk from one side. Oh, wait a minute, no, 4-mile walk from one side to the other. So it takes a little more than an hour. You're going through the woods. I'd like the 5 of you to make for me, somebody please, a D20 roll.
Nine.
9. Okay. You make your way over the better part of an hour through the woods. The sun is out, though, as always. It's it's behind a lot of cloud cover here in Barovia. It's never once in the entire time you've been here have you actually seen the sun. So it's there behind the cloud layer, and it is brighter during the day than it is at night, but it's always gloomy, and through the forest, it's even more so. Occasionally in the distance, you'd hear a sound, a howl of wolves, but it's way too far away to be anything of a threat. But still, you make your way as cautiously as you can until you get back to the eastern side of Veros. I'd like somebody whoever is leading this to make an investigation or a perception check. Since you're all working together looking for the spot you had tied up the donkeys, you do have advantage.
I have a +8 to investigation.
Yep, knock stuff out. I got a 4. 4 and a 5, respectively, for investigation and perception.
25.
You're looking about. Give me one more check real quick. I just need a percentage dice rolled. Okay.
25.
Damn, let me start that one over again. Since Cog and Vide and everybody else were together when you tied up the donkeys, it does not take long after describing to Delphine the spot and kind of the area around. You are able to find where you tied up the donkeys. You see them standing there, tethered to the tree just the way you left them, hobbled with a little feed bag over their heads. They seem to be nervous.
Cog would just kind of run over, just kind of start calming them down. Like, shh, 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 it's okay. It's okay. I apologize. I know there was a lot of sounds. We did not mean for any of that to happen. He's just going to start gently, kind of like almost, I guess, I mean, I'm sure there's like a little bag or a saddle bag. If he doesn't, maybe it's on him, and he's just going to start kind of like just brushing him down to just calm him down. He probably has a snack in his bag or to give to them.
Give me a animal handling check.
He is a halfling,
That's
so
true.
ones don't exist in his world. It's an 18.
18, much better than a 1, that's for sure. Yeah, it takes you a little bit of time, but as you're brushing them and stroking them and talking to them, you are able to eventually calm them down. But it does take a little bit of time. While that's going on, Delphine, Vide, what are the two of you up to? Can't hear you, Brandie.
Yeah, I didn't really say anything yet. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll probably just kind of be looking out, making sure I don't see anything like, anything that might want to hurt us.
Okay. Then give me either a perception check or a survival check.
Dirty 20.
What about you, Delphine?
I'm gonna kind of stand behind everyone. Vite'll see this, but looking awkwardly at Urzak while Cog is taking care of the donkeys.
Yeah, that tracks. I imagine there's just like she's staring at him. He's like looking every other direction possible.
And we're like on opposite sides. Like
Yeah.
we're not even standing next to each other.
Yeah. There's definitely just a little bit of tension that Cog is completely oblivious to because he's working on taking care of the donkeys.
Eventually, you're both mine. I just want you to know that. I've got plans. Matt already knows my plans for Urzak. I don't know what I'm going to do for Delphine.
Anyway, Vide, with your perception, good news is nothing really comes this way. Bad news. You're noticing a lot of footprints around the area around the donkey. Large claw marks that kind of dig into the dirt and massive paws. Give me a nature check, please.
Can it be a survival instead?
I'll allow it.
Ooh, nat 20 for 28.
At first you see them and you're thinking big wolf, dire wolf even. But the closer you look at them, they're too big for that. And the spacing of the pads in the dirt is wider than what you'd expect it to be. With your nat 20, I'm going to say that you have heard of something bigger than a wolf in your time here in Barovia. They have werewolves here. and judging based on how big the size of the pads and the length of the claw and just the general stride of the footprints, you're fairly certain that that's what that is. And they make like you're kind of walking around the area where the donkeys are tethered, like in a long, slow circle, and you can see there's a lot of footprints coming and going, but they all sort of make a ring around the two donkeys.
Okay, I'm definitely going to point this out to everybody else. Be like, yeah, we got werewolves that were, for some reason, checking out our donkeys.
Oh, and as soon as he hears that, he's just going to look at both of them. He's like, I am so sorry. And he's just going to kind of hug, one by one, hug their necks. I mean, shit. Yeah, he's tall enough. He could do it. You know what? Maybe he's hugging like their legs or midsection there.
You're a halfling. You're like 3 feet tall.
Well, donkeys aren't huge.
Donkeys are like 5
But, yeah.
foot, 5, 6, almost 6 foot at times.
Well, that'd be like a horse, I would think.
No, a horse is like 8 feet tall.
He's like, you know, he's kind of just loving on him. It's like, I'm never gonna leave you again, guys. I'm so sorry. It's like we're gonna. And he's like, he goes, don't worry. He's like, if they come near you again, he's like, Daddy Cock is gonna kill him. Don't worry.
Well,
you need something to latch on to. He's had a pretty earth-shattering event happen.
Oh yeah.
He's
clinging
he's gonna cling to these donkeys like they're his children.
There you go, donkey height, 5'2". So yeah. So you're like grabbing onto his leg.
5'2". Yeah. So he's loving on him.
Yeah, 2'6" would be like the colt size.
Mini donkey, probably.
Yeah. But to carry pull the wagon.
Vide,
Anyway.
can you tell how old these tracks are? Are they from last night? Are they from this morning?
Yeah.
think-
With my nat
Oh.
20, how old are these tracks?
They are very fresh.
Yeah, they are definitely fresh.
Like
Although
minutes? Hours?
I feel like too we would have noticed them last night if they were there before we tied the donkeys up. But yeah, can I tell, like, was it last night? Was it within, like, last hour? Can I tell it? Well, werewolves, that's at night though. They wouldn't be werewolves during the day.
And you were out at night, and you had snuck into town at night.
Yes, I know. Well, good, no, but she was asking if they were like minutes old or longer than that.
Definitely not. Yeah, there's no way to tell, like, within the last hour or something like that. There's just no real way to forensically prove that. But what you can tell is they've definitely been. They weren't there when you put the donkeys there, and
Right.
they're there now, and you know how werewolves function for the most part. So, or at least you have an assumption of how they function. So,
We
there's
should get going
there's the math.
and be on our toes.
Yeah, I would definitely not linger too much. Can I check the donkeys over to make sure that? I mean, I was.
I cast a mage armor on myself.
Okay, to answer your question, you need to do a medicine check about the donkeys.
Oh, Todd can do that.
I mean, I
Never mind.
just rolled 23.
Yeah, you examine the donkeys fully as you all start, like, getting them unhobbled and ready to go. And with a thorough examination, with that 23, you don't see any marks on them whatsoever.
Okay, yeah, looks like they didn't touch them.
Yeah,
We
he
should
wouldn't
just
kill.
definitely keep an eye on.
He wouldn't kill our favorite NPC and kill our donkeys like back-to-back episodes. He wouldn't do that to us. He's not that evil.
You hear the
Right.
laugh in the intro, right? I mean, I know I've heard it.
All right, he would at least give us a chance to save them. 'Cause we didn't
I
really
feel
get a
like you're
chance to
giving me a
save
lot
them.
more credit than I actually deserve. No, if you would have
I
rolled...
think that this is a trap,
Shh, hey,
and the
he's
donkeys were left.
He's
to
also very handsome and intelligent. He wouldn't do any of those things to us, guys. Come on.
I appreciate that, but for the audience, just so you know, if they would have rolled a 40 or higher, those donkeys would have been dead. So there's that. Anyway, you got your donkeys. They are alive, and now you're an hour on the other side of Veros from where you want to go. How are you getting back? Are you going through the woods? Are you going to cut through town again?
Well, I mean, the gates are open, yeah?
Well, I mean, we could just walk along the wall. You know, we don't have to be in the woods or in town. We could be kind of straddling the line, so to speak.
Yeah, there is an open gap between the woods and the wall.
That's fair.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
I am keeping an eye out for these werewolves, though.
Okay. Then go ahead and give me a perception check as you make the hour plus travel back to the other side of Veros.
What's up, puppy?
7. I don't see nothing.
Not really. You see a lot of trees. Every so often you see a guard walking the top of the wall. They nod down, and one time someone calls up, "Oh, why are you walking down there?"
We wanted to take in the scenery.
It's where the ground is.
Make a deception check.
It's
Delphine.
Oh, okay. I was just like, hey, can't walk in the air.
And as I remind you occasionally, just because you say something factually accurate does not mean you're not being deceptive. So give me that deception check. The reply you get
Natural
is,
1.
"That's a stupid thing to do."
Yep.
Other than that, they don't bother you. And by the time you get to back to the main road on the eastern side of Veros, you're getting close to noon. The sun is at its almost near its highest point in the cloudy sky, but I mean it's cloudy, but you can still see it a little bit. So you kind of use that to judge what time it is, and you got a bit of a trek ahead of you. So my question is, where are y'all headed?
Were we, because we need to go to the tower where Rictavio was, but were we also going to go south to where we saw the smoke out of the manor down here?
I think we decided to go to the tower first because we were going to try and beeline for Aljiba.
So yeah, then
And stop at the tower on the way.
Going north along the road once we get past the bridge. Oh, I guess the wagon's coming up here. If it's still there, we can see if Delphine can fix it. And mend it.
Mm-hmm. So the plan is to head to the wagon first?
Well, I mean, it's along the main
it's
road.
at the crossroads.
Yeah. So yeah, head that direction.
Okay. Let's see. That's going to take about an hour to get there. So someone roll for me a d20.
I'll get this one. It's 19.
Roll me a d12 and a d8, please.
Oh, Lord. 7 and a 6, respectively.
Okay. As you're making your way down the trail towards the bridge, you can see the bridge up ahead. It is made of stone. There was at one point a very tall signpost on either end of the bridge. The one closest to you has been broken off and is lying currently in the dirt next to the bridge. But that's not what causes y'all to stop. You're currently pulling your mules behind you, your donkeys behind you, and they stop first. Their eyes much more keener than yours, but at that stop, you all kind of look around, and you see in total over a dozen wolves currently standing on the bridge, kind of prowling around it in a circle.
Regular wolves?
It's hard to tell at this distance. They haven't seemed to notice you yet, or at least they haven't made any reaction. Give me a perception check. Let's see if you can figure it out.
18.
16?
They're large, they're shaggy, and they're black, but they're definitely not as big as the dire wolves you've seen before. They seem to be regular wolves.
And they're just like circling?
Yeah,
Or they're just like
just kind of moving about around on the bridge itself. Like, it's a pretty long bridge. It's over 500 feet in length, and you can just see them kind of moving around back and forth, but standing in the middle of the thing.
all right. And I mean, can we see? Why are they doing it? I mean, are they like sniffing the ground, or are they just kind of like just chilling? They're just chilling, just circling?
No, some of them are like sniffing the ground. Some of them are sniffing the bridge itself. Some of them are just kind of walking back and forth. Chances are they're going to see you here in a few seconds. Like, I'm giving you basically a round and a half to decide what you're wanting to do here.
You want to just try and scare them off?
I mean, I suppose. I mean, I can. How about this? I will set something to scare them. You set something to do much worse.
What kind of bridge is this?
It's stone.
Okay. You got it. That I can do.
Cog would just, I guess, have. You know, we'll just do. We'll do a guiding bolt to like blast like kind of the ground right in front of them for when they turn around and see us.
Okay, so you're preparing a guiding bolt?
Well, we'll go with Sacred Flame so he doesn't burn a spell. So yeah, he'll have that and he'll just be ready as soon as like they kind of look in our direction. He's gonna have it go off to where it like hits the ground like right in front of them.
Okay. Urzak and Danika are going to take the donkeys and hold on to their reins and kind of push them back. So that's what they're going to be doing. Delphine, Vide, what are the two of you doing?
I'll have my gun ready, so if they start trying to attack us, I can start shooting.
I don't want to prepare a spell, but I have a spell in mind. So I'm just waiting and seeing what this guiding bolt is going to do, if they're going to scatter, if they're going to come toward us. But I have my rapier out.
Okay. So all of you see that, grab your weapons and prepare your cantrips and wait to see what they're doing. After a moment, one of them definitely notices. Their head turns towards you and they sniff. They let out a short woof almost, and the rest of the pack turns as one and faces your group, sniffing the air. There's this tense moment while you're holding your spells and weapon. They are sniffing the air, looking at you intently. And then as a group, they turn and begin running the opposite direction.
Think we should have killed them. That could be a problem.
How far away are they?
Right now, they're in the middle of the bridge. They're probably about, let's say, 200 feet away from you.
I could.
To 200 feet? You can get that far?
I need 150.
Well, if they're that far away, I don't know if we're going to catch them now. It seems things are a little too coincidental. You know, we noticed their werewolf prints around our donkeys. Very interested, didn't touch them. Now there's a bunch of wolves on the bridge.
And as the two of you have been chatting about this, they have moved away.
Yeah.
Seems like they're heading towards the woods. They're almost to the end of that side of the bridge at this point. And you can just kind of see the backs of them as they're making their way off the bridge. So if there's anything anybody wants to do, now's really the time.
They're too far away from. I would have to get within 150 feet to do anything.
Okay. Well, a few moments later, the wolves have reached the end of the bridge, have gotten off, and seem to be moving towards the north, heading towards the woods. What are you all doing?
Well, we'll start, I guess, if the wagon, Pete, they're still nearby. Have Delphine mend that, fix it, hook the donkeys up.
Yeah. Once you get across the bridge yourselves, you are able to get to the crossroads. And after a little bit of looking around the woods, you find the place where you had left your camouflaged wagon. You had set up a bunch of trees and branches and stuff all over it to hide it. And it is still in place. The axle is still broken. But Delphine, you said you want to try to mend it?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about mending. How does that work?
Sorry, I'm trying to find it.
Need some help?
No, just have a Fessy baby.
Gotcha.
But I mean, I suppose we could just keep doing, because it's just a cantrip.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, it's a cantrip, so it's Oh, I thought it said like how
So this
much it actually mended.
Yeah,
would
the
actually
spell
mend.
repairs a single break or tear in an object you touch, such as a broken chain link, two halves of a broken key, a torn cloak, or a leaking wineskin. As long as the break or tear is no larger than 1 foot in any dimension, you mend it, leaving no trace of the former damage. So I'm just kind of trying to think about.
Yeah, as long as the axle isn't more than a foot in diameter.
Well, that's some weird math that I don't really want to figure out. So let's just say like this. It's going to take a little bit of time. This isn't like mending a ripped page or something like that. But 1 foot, 1 foot in any dimension. I don't think an axle is technically a foot thick. So I guess technically, like, there's probably a few places where things are broken. You have to cast your spell a few times. You have to have everybody like lift the wagon up so that you can connect everything together right and cast your spell. But after about a good half an hour or so of working together, you would be able to mend your wagon.
Woohoo!
Does that mean you've mended every single solitary thing that's on there? No, that'd probably take a little while, but you've gotten it to a point that's serviceable. Because I'm sure there are other places as you're looking, you'd find different cracks and things like that, different places that needs to be reinforced. But over some time, I feel like you'd be able to do that. So after that, your group hitches up the donkeys once again, and you will all load up and get into the wagon. You all have this kind of moment where you're climbing up and you're worried that the weight's gonna buckle or something else is gonna happen, but once you're all settled in, you feel confident that, sure enough, your wagon should be fine for travel. Once the wagon's
bound
ready,
to go right.
Sorry.
Yeah, he would just say something's bound to go right, and then just kind of like, everybody get on. Make haste.
Yeah, after it is right at noon when you all, or actually no, just after noon. Once you all gather into the wagon and start making your way. With the crossroads, like the main road that heads to the west is much more clear. The road leading to the north, it's almost as though the woods around have tried to swallow up the road. It's not nearly as pronounced or prominent as the cobblestone road that leads through Barovia. This is more like just a wide dirt trail that's kind of bumpy and patchy as you're making your way across it. You still got a few hours of travel left here, so why don't we go ahead and get another D20 roll?
I would like to, as we're going, keep an eye out for those wolves or any wolves.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
$18 on that D20.
18 on a D20.
17 on perception.
Okay. I'm also going to need another D12 and a D8 roll, please.
8 and 5.
Delphine. Actually, I'm going to need you to re-roll those. You got the same number.
Me?
Yeah, the D8 and the D12.
Oh, I got the same numbers as before?
Yeah, 13.
Oh, there's a set. You're just going for the total. Okay, I got you. I would have loved if we'd hit 13 again, but
That would have been hilarious. As you're traveling down the road, you get about an hour into your journey, making your way 3 miles going north. As you're reaching that point, you can see up ahead a group of, you see a pair of men walking down the road. They're standing right in the middle of the road, just kind of walking down it. They're dressed in what I like to call typical Barovian fashion. Drab kind of grays, moth-eaten, very old and weathered. One of them is carrying an axe in on his shoulder, like a wood-cutting axe, and the other one has a pair of pheasants draped over his shoulder, tied together by some rope. The two of them see your wagon about the same time you see them, and the two pause and look at you, and one kind of points towards you, and the two of them kind of put their heads together. What do you do?
And you said they're carrying pheasants and axes?
Yeah, one of them has an axe, like a wood axe, looks kind of like. The other has a couple birds draped across the shoulders.
Hello, gentlemen.
You yell this out?
Oh, yeah.
The one holding the axe puts a hand up in a wave.
How's it going? Good catch today, I see.
Good enough is the reply you get.
I assume we're still moving towards them, or did we stop too in like a standoff?
You tell me. Did you stop the donkeys when you saw them, or did you just keep going?
He might go for one after we see him. I guess he might move for a little bit further up. How far? I guess when we saw each other, like how far apart are they?
Let's call it 150 feet.
Yeah, I mean, he might have moved up maybe another 50 feet or so, and then when he came to a stop, he would have called out to him, and you know, and now they're just kind of stopped, and I mean, he's got. I guess he would always kind of keep his shield, probably like sitting next to him on the like at his feet on the wagon.
Mm-hmm.
He's just gonna kind of have his hand just like resting on the top of that, just gingerly, maybe holding the reins, and he's gonna have his. I don't know. I can't remember. Oh, I think it was a staff that said I've been using for him, for his magical. To cast his spells. He's just gonna tapping that next to him. He's like, as he's calling it, saying it's like, so what do we got going on here, gentlemen? We don't want any trouble. We're just passing through.
Make a persuasion check.
That's a 6.
The one with the axe calls out, "There is always trouble in Barovia."
We've noticed that. But this is trouble you won't walk away from. We just want to pass.
Then do so. We will not touch you.
Just kind of, I guess, is Delphine sitting in the seat next to him up front, or would she be in back, or?
Yeah, Delphine, Vide, what's going on with the two of you?
Vide is gonna just like he's gonna have his hand on his gun. He's not gonna pull it out, but he's just gonna be ready just in case. But I'm not gonna make any aggressive movements unless they do so first.
Are you in the back of the wagon, or were you sitting in the front with Cog?
Oh, I think I was in the back. Is it a covered wagon though?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm
So I
sitting
would
in the
still be
front to be as far away from Urzak as possible.
Fair enough. So Delphine's in the front next to Cog. What are you doing, Delphine?
I'm trying to look as unimposing as possible.
Make a deception check.
I think as she's trying to look meek in front of these gentlemen,
Very demure.
Cog, he would say in Elvish, just kind of just quiet enough that she can hear. I mean, just as like we're having a casual conversation. And he would say in Elvish, he's like, if they make a sudden move, make them disappear. And where if she knows that he means just obliterate them or literally disappear, I don't know. But he's just... We're getting dark, Cog. This is his dark turn.
Does Delphine speak Elvish?
She's an elf.
Delphine? Does Delphine speak Elvish?
She fucking better.
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. She knows what I'm asking. Anyway, that 12 deception, yeah, I don't know how unintimidating you're looking right now, glaring at these two men. The two of them begin moving to the side of the road, keeping within range of the dirt road, and watching you all as you start getting the wagon moving once again. Do you stay in the middle of the road? Do you move over to the side and give them room or anything like that?
Oh yeah, we'd let them. We would, we're not gonna just be dicks about it.
Mm-hmm.
We would, move over to one side, let them pass on the other.
Okay. Well,
I'm keeping an eye on them as Cog is driving the wagon.
Absolutely. Give me another perception check.
You want one just from Tina? You want one from Cog as well?
You can do one too, Cog. Well, you're more dealing with the donkeys right now.
Folks sit on the road, yeah.
So no, not really. But Vide can make one.
So his perception would be on the donkeys and keeping them in line.
22 for mine.
The wagon makes it past the two men. They're walking a little bit along the edge as you all are making your way across with the wagon. Delphine, you don't really notice a whole lot about these men, but Vide, in the back of the wagon, you have your head up, you're kind of looking about, and you examine these two men as the wagon passes. You get a good up and down look at them. Now, the wagon continues on, and you watch, Vide, as the two men stand there on the side of the road once you're past, and just kind of turn and watch the wagon, as though just as unsure about you as you are of them. But as you're getting about 20 or so feet away from them, something strikes you, and at first, you've just been looking at them, so the pieces didn't put together, but you look it back once again, really take a good look at them. And it's weird. Neither of the men are wearing shoes, or socks, or stockings, or whatever the hell they did in medieval periods. They're both barefoot. Their feet are a little muddy, of course, because, they're walking down a dirt road. And their clothes, they're not wearing coats. They just have simple tunics and breeches on, stuff like that. Typical Barovian garb, sure, but it is kind of chilly out in this area. And they're not really dressed for that sort of thing. Or maybe they can't, who knows. But they're definitely, it strikes you as odd that they're not wearing a jacket, they have no shoes on. The way they're watching you as well, very dark, very grim, which, to be fair, is fairly typical here in Barovia, but there's a harshness to those eyes that you noticed as you were passing. Now, good news is that your wagon continues on, and the two men don't make a move towards the wagon. But they also don't move away from it, from where they're standing. They just stand there and watch as your wagon continues on down the road. Until eventually, the road does curve and wind, and you lose sight of the two of them. But they never moved from that spot.
I'm gonna tell everybody, hey, we need to keep a close eye on ourselves. I suspect those individuals possibly were who maybe were interested in our donkeys last night. Because I'm going to explain, their dress, how they're dressed and everything, and why I think they may have been our werewolf friends.
Maybe our friend on the hill is watching us a little closer.
And that's a very big possibility. And then I'm also... Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. I think we've already discussed this, and what I was going to do is not going to actually. Silver bullets, do they work? Is that the one that they don't work against werewolves in this? Is that... Remember, I feel like we discussed this before.
Silver works on were creatures, but not vampires.
Okay, then that is the correct. So then, yeah, I'm gonna switch out my bullets for silver bullets just in case.
Fair enough. You continue on down the road as Vide is loading up his gun and replacing his regular bullets with the silver ones he's created. That quack quack. Jesus.
What?
Way to break the mood.
I didn't realize that phone was that close. I apologize.
Anyway, you continue on down the road for another couple hours, actually. It takes you a little while, but fortunately, over those next 2 hours, though your group does look backwards over and over again, trying to see either those men or those wolves or anything else, nothing presents themselves.
Yeah, Vide will definitely be scanning the trees as well.
Absolutely. But during that time, yeah, really don't find anything else. Nobody seems to be following you. But those were odd encounters, to be sure. Anyway, eventually you do come to the path turning towards the, I guess, northwest again at that point. It kind of curves around a very large area of woods, but eventually you get to a point that you see in the distance, well, something rather unique. You come to a cold mountain lake enclosed by misty woods and rocky bluffs. There is a thick fog that creeps along the dark, still waters, clearly visible here in the afternoon sun. The sun overhead is just starting to dip down towards the horizon, making the cloud cover a vibrant display of reds and oranges. The trail ends at a grassy-covered causeway that stretches 100 yards across the lake to a flat, marshy island with a stone tower protruding out from the center of it. The tower is old and decrepit, with collapsing scaffolds clinging to one side where a large gash has split the wall. Time-worn griffin statues, their wings and flanks covered with moss, are perched atop the buttresses that support the walls of the structure. There before you is the tower that you've heard about. The causeway between the island and the lake is narrow. It's wide enough that the cart could get across it, but not much more beyond that. So my question to you all is, what do you do?
And I believe Rictavio is expecting us. We could just go knock on the door.
Well, I mean, he's expecting one of us. It's particular. I mean, we could have.
Danika can go knock on the door.
Well, they could send. I guess maybe not a message, because I don't know if it can go through. However thick the stone is. I mean, they could send a sending to him. Just be like, hey, you know, we're approaching. If you're still there. If they were here to do that.
That is true.
We could burn one spell for them.
Yeah, I mean, if y'all want Danika to, she absolutely could cast her spell.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so he doesn't freak out and try and kill us. If he doesn't, you know, shoot first, ask later. Just to let him know, hey, we're here.
Yeah, it might not make it through the stone of the tower walls. Because it can't pass through a foot of stone.
Well, message couldn't, no.
Message couldn't.
Okay. Well, Danika will cast sending then. She says something along the lines of, "Hey, Rictavio, we're just outside the lake looking at your tower. Should we come up and say hi?" I feel like that was too many words. And so it cut off at some point. She listens for a moment, and the response you're given is, "Y'all, he says that he's to the north of the lake right now. He said to just wait there, don't go inside, and he'll be along before nightfall."
All right. Not much more we can do than wait. How long before nightfall?
Couple hours.
It's a long wait.
So are you going to wait at the edge of the lake, or are you going to head onto the island itself?
You were muted if you were saying anything.
He just said, "Don't go inside."
Yeah, he just said, don't go inside the tower.
I mean, how far would it be to get across the water to the island?
It's like a couple hundred, what did it say, 100 or so yards?
All right.
We might as well wait on the island, right?
I don't see why that would be a bad idea.
To the island.
Okay. You all snap the reins of your wagon and have the donkeys go along the narrow causeway that leads between the shore of the lake and the island. You can tell as you're crossing that this is definitely not a natural causeway. It has to have been man-made. It's mostly made of gravel that's been kind of lined with dirt on the top and then packed down with even more gravel, making for a firm footing of a bridge, but one that cleanly bisects the lake right alongside it. So it's a little nerve-wracking as you cross. The water of the lake is dark and murky. You can see a little bit of a reflection on the surface, as though there is a bit of scum and stuff in it as well. And as you cross the causeway and reach the island itself, the mist does seem to recede back a bit, as though you're getting a much better perspective of the lake itself. The mist does tend to hang back around the trees now where you are. It's getting quite cold, and it only takes you about 15 or so minutes to cross from the island shore to the island itself, or the lake shore to the island itself. Now, once you arrive, you get a much better picture of the tower itself. It's quite tall. It's a good 80 feet tall at least, and as you examine it, you can see that the second, third, and fourth floors, it must be based on the positioning of these, have arrow slits that are about 6 inches wide and 3 feet tall. The tower's uppermost level overhangs the levels below it, and you can see it. There are box windows in addition to the arrow slits. You all park your wagon alongside the road, and you can see that there is another wagon parked in front of the tower itself. This wagon, well, it's not hard to recognize the thing, though it is slightly different since the last time you've seen it. It's very clearly Rictavio's wagon, but it's been changed since the last time you've seen it. The wagon sports a fresh coat of purple paint, and its wheels have been reinforced. You can see that there are brass lanterns hanging from each corner of the wagon, and as you come and pull your wagon alongside the bottom area of the road here, you can see that the back door has a new steel padlock on it. There also seems to be a sign hanging from the padlock. The wagon itself is parked about 7 feet away from the building itself, just on the opposite side of the road from you. You don't see any sign of horses or anything like that, just the wagon. The rest of the grounds around the tower seem to be somewhat clear, though a little shrubby, though you haven't actually made your way around the whole thing. But with that in mind, Expedition, what do you want to do?
It's completely black on the map for us if we're...
Oh, is it? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I had to scroll down.
Well, I can see my character, but I can't see anything else.
Yeah,
Should
same.
Should be bright.
Yeah,
There, now I can see it.
Now you can see it? Okay.
I mean, park the wagon near his wagon. And just kind of wait for him. You know,
Yeah.
take care. I guess. I mean, is there anywhere around? Is there like a place for like animals or like his animal, like a stable or something around?
At just the base glance, without exploring the island, you don't see anything. No, though you haven't actually,
Well.
been around it, or you've just rode up next to it and parked.
Man, I suppose he'd kind of. I mean, it's explore a little bit, see if there is, just at a glance around, see if there's a place, because I would think it's got to be somewhere close, unless the horse is inside. But he just kind of do a cursory check of the area to look to see if there is a some place that the horse is stabled.
Okay. You're just making like a wide circuit around the tower, basically.
Yeah, he's just gonna kind of be looking around, see if where they could put the donkeys, if anywhere, for now.
Absolutely.
Just checking things out. Yeah.
Okay. You just. I don't need an investigation check for this. You can walk around the tower, just kind of give it a wide circle. There are no other buildings on this island. It's not a very large island, in fact. It only takes you about 15 or so minutes to walk around the whole thing. But other than the tower in the center, there are no other buildings.
I suppose he would just kind of uncouple them for now and just maybe start dressing them down a little bit, just chill them out. But he just wants to at least unhook them from, the bridle or whatever they might have had on them.
Yeah.
To get that, just get that weight off him. I mean, he can kind of resecure him to the back of the wagon, give him a little feed, give him something to eat.
Okay.
And just let him chill.
What's everybody else doing?
Do you guys want me to put up the tiny hut while we wait so we have somewhere safe to be inside of?
Might as well. Can the donkeys be in it with us? Is it big enough for that?
That is a good question. It says 9 creatures of medium size or smaller.
So yeah, technically.
It would be tight, but yes.
I mean, might as well. Wouldn't hurt to, to have some sort of something to protect us while we're waiting.
Right.
Okay. So you're gonna take the horses or the donkeys over. You're gonna cast your tiny hut, and you're gonna wait in there. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. You do so, and you all kind of settle in with the donkeys, huddling close together. It's a bit cramped with the 2 donkeys in the tiny hut, along with the 5 of you, but cog's small, and you make it work. An hour goes by, and then another hour goes by, and then a third hour goes by, and at this point, it is dark. And Rictavio still has not shown up yet. And that, I think, is where we're going to pause to go on break. because it's 7:30. So we will be back in about 10 minutes, folks, and when we return, we're going to find out what our Conclave members decide to do while they're waiting for Rictavio. Stay tuned. And we're back. So when we last left off, our heroes were sitting inside a tiny hut created by Delphine, waiting for Rictavio to return from wherever he's traipsing about, somewhere to the north. It's been 3 hours, and the half-elf Rictavio has not appeared. So, with that in mind, Expedition, what do you want to do?
You said it's getting dark.
Oh yeah, it's well past dark now.
Well, I mean, just keep wait, because he said don't go inside. I mean, I would go inside, but Cog is within this world, so he knows there's fucked up shit. But he doesn't know Rictavio. He doesn't trust him just yet. So I mean, I would say just kind of wait and chill.
Or do we go look for him?
It's dark, and there are werewolves.
I mean, we have this hut for 8 hours, so...
Yeah, we could wait a little longer, you know. And we could have, if they want to burn another spell, to say, hey, what's going on? Where are you?
Yeah, I feel like this is something that Danika would want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and make the executive decision to burn another one of her spells. Sorry, Danika. She casts Sending once again. Hey, Rictavio! Thought you were going to be here by now. What's taking so long? We're all waiting here for you.
Can't wait till she listens to this. Be like, I don't talk like that.
Right.
But she does.
Oh, well, butter my biscuits. He says he's just a little bit outside the lake, making his way around now.
Butter my biscuit?
Yeah, just to make you laugh. Just to make you laugh. You all wait for another 20 or so minutes, but you do see a familiar shape making their way on foot down the causeway between the lake shore and the island. Well, at least those of you who have dark vision, so it's really just Danika, Delphine, and Urzak. But you do see him approaching. He kind of stops and looks at the wagon. You hear him call out, Danika, is that you? Come on out. Glad to see you haven't tried to go in the tower. He does come and approach the wagon. You're in the sphere, so I don't know what color you have it, if it's translucent or whatever, Delphine. But
it just kind of looks like the surroundings, so kind of like whatever the ground kind of looks like.
Mm-hmm. So it's dark. He doesn't see your group. He just sees the wagon. Hello, are you there?
And we recognize it as him? Is he close enough we can see him? And...
Those of you with dark vision can see him just fine.
The old dark vision. Yeah, I mean, Cog doesn't have it, so...
He has a crossbow out now, and he's looking around. Hello, Danika! Delphine!
Do I recognize him?
Can't remember the rest of you all. Make a perception check.
Seven.
It's difficult to tell.
Who has better eyes?
It's him. I'm not going to play this out too long. He's kind of walking
Because
around.
I was going to give either Vide or Cog dark vision.
Yeah, I'm not going to play this out too long. Danika would be like, "Oh, sugar and spice, that's definitely him."
Shit.
Should have been here.
So you mean I could have been fucking talking like Urzak this whole time?
Never volunteered to.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, I mean, I guess if they do recognize him, you know, she calls out, obviously. Kage just kind of walk out and be like, "Hello, Rictavio."
Yes, I remember you. Sorry, can't quite remember.
He's gonna be like, Corwan!
Oh, Corwan!
Really?
Yes, of course, I
Yeah.
remember you.
Yeah, we've only met several times, helped keep your kitty cat alive.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know. I'm great with faces, but I seem to only be able to remember certain names. It's a bit of a character flaw, if you get my meaning.
Would that be female names?
Rictavio kind of smiles a little bit and gives you a bit of a shrug.
You old dog, you. I noticed your horse or whatever you had pulling your wagon. Hopefully not your tiger. That would be interesting. Where have you stabled your beasts?
Rictavio kind of gives you a small shrug and he says, "I really don't need those kinds of things."
Is there somewhere we can place Dom and Letty? And he's just motioning back to the two donkeys.
Which are in the hut still.
Well, he would, I guess, yeah, I mean, he'd, like, maybe reach in and, like...
Well, as soon as I leave the hut disappears.
So have you left the hut?
Yes.
Okay. Well, once you do, they do disappear, and he would be able to see everyone. Rictavio kind of looks about you all and says, "Well, it's good to see you all here. No, I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't really have any place that's a comfortable stay for donkeys. I suppose you could bring them in the tower, but I'm not going to lie, the tower is extremely dangerous. It can't bear a whole lot of weight. The upper floors are very, very brittle, and the lower floor is also quite dangerous."
Okay. Do you have any other suggestions? Because I spent some unscrupulous characters and lots of wolves around. I'd hate to leave them alone. Where's your tiger? Is it? It's not inside the wagon, is it?
It seems as though we have a lot to discuss.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Do we have enough rope to give Dom and Letty, like, room?
Well, I'm sure we too. I mean, yeah, Cog's definitely. I mean, if we have to, he can pull a patch off his robe, and that would have. He's got a 50 feet of rope that on one of the patches. He could easily pull that off, but I don't really want to leave him outside.
I've got rope too, for that matter.
Well, if we can tie them off, I have Private Sanctum I can burn a spell slot for.
Well, that sounds like a reasonable idea. Why don't you align your wagon with mine, and we can tie ropes between the two of them, which should serve as a little bit of a barrier for them to see visually. Then if you cast your spell and we have them hobbled, they probably wouldn't be able to wander off.
Well, all right. As long as they're safe.
You take a little bit of time working together with Rictavio, aligning your wagon with his, tying rope between it, tying the rope to the ropes of the leads of the horses, or not horses, donkeys, and setting everything up. You're casting the spell Private Sanctum, which is interesting. You make an area within range magically secure. Sound can't pass through the barrier at the edge of the warded area. The area appears dark and foggy, preventing vision through it. Sensors created by divination spells can't appear inside the projected area. Yeah. It doesn't protect anybody from walking in, it looks like, but it still has quite a bit of...
yes, it does. Only
it does?
people I permit can go in and out of it. When you cast a spell, you decide what sort of security the spell provides, choosing any and all of the following, but I also choose who can and cannot enter.
Oh, I see it right there. You can decide what sort of security and choose any and all the... Okay, I like it. But yeah, so you cast this. It's fairly secure. Your donkeys are in between the wagons and are just kind of resting there, standing there between them. Once that's done, Rictavio says, "Now, before we enter this tower, there's a few things that I should inform you of. The reason I told you not to attempt to enter it is because this tower is heavily warded. The door itself, which is the only way in or out, is protected by a powerful spell, one that could easily kill most people. To get in, you have to do a series of calisthenics, more like a dance in front of it, and once you do, the door opens and you're able to get in. However, that comes to the next thing I need to inform you of. When I said the tower was heavily warded, I meant that quite literally. We will be unable to cast spells while we are in there, and it also disrupts any active spells on you. Which means if any of you use magic to enhance your features, it will be gone the moment you step through there. Any magical items you have on you will not work, and no spells will be able to be cast while you're in there. I just want to keep everything fully above board, so you're not caught off guard once we're inside.
Why are we going in here? What's important in this tower?
We're looking for a book.
Wait, you're looking for a book? I thought you were here to assist me.
Maybe we can do both.
At the very least, I feel like we'll be more comfortable inside, and we can tell each other what's going on. Follow me, but stay back. Don't get any closer than 5. Do not get more than 5 feet closer to it, to the tower, before I finish what I'm about to do. You walk up to the door, and as you do, you can see that the tower door is made of iron, with no visible handles or hinges. In the middle of the door is a large embossed symbol, a connected series of lines with 8 stick figures set around it. Carved into the lintel of the door, you would be able to see because Rictavio does light a torch and holds it up for you all to see. He also says, one of you might want to light a torch as well. I have sconces up at the top of the tower, but the ones below are not able to be lit. They're broken. But as he shows you the door and the lintel, you see a word has been carved above the door into the lintel. The word is Khazan, Khazan. There's also a handout to show you, so I'm going to do that now. The door is, it's interesting. That bronze circle in the middle of it shows just a series of lines connecting the different stick figures. Rictavio says, "Now watch carefully. This is going to be interesting." He steps right up to the door, and as he steps past a certain point, getting closer than 5 feet away from it, you see Rictavio shimmer and change. The individual that was Rictavio stood about 6 feet tall, but the person standing before you now is maybe 5'8", 5'9" at most. They have, let's see here. They have dark brown hair that's very long and curly, cascading down a slim pair of narrow shoulders that's wrapped in a bright orange coat. Very different from what Rictavio was dressed in. The pointed ears that were peeking out of the half-elf's hair back when you first saw them are no more. They're gone, and instead it's just replaced by a lot of poofy, dark brown. The figure then does a series of motions, following along the pattern of the stick figures in a kind of weird gestational or gestating. That's a word. Anyway, just a series of motions, putting their hands up, down, that sort of thing, until they come to a complete circle following the stick figures. Once the last motion is made, the door opens with a soft click. The individual turns around, and you can see now that the male Rictavio has changed into a very obviously feminine figure of a human woman. This woman is wearing a headband around their head. They're dressed a little bit flamboyantly. The coat that they're wearing is short and kind of ends right at the hips. That way you can see well-rounded hips and very, very tight pants. The woman also, you notice, has a prosthetic leg. She makes no notice of your attention on her as she turns back to look at you all, and she says, "As I said, we have a whole lot of things to discuss."
Man, I wish Danika was here. I want to see what Natalie's reaction is as Danika.
Mm-hmm. So what do you all do? As the former Rictavio is holding their arm out towards the door.
I think Kagi'd have his book out, just kind of scribble it away. He's like, why, thank you, ma'am. Do I stand anywhere in particular when I go inside, or
Well, just go past the door. We'll all follow through, and you'll go up from there.
Yeah, he'll go in.
I'll follow behind.
And Vide will probably light a torch and then follow on.
You all begin filing in, and the vestibule beyond is a 5-foot square area with a tattered curtain that you have to push aside to enter to get past. Once you do, you see that you're in a very narrow tower area. The walls are quite thick. And there is, there are above you rotting wooden beams supporting a scaffolding, which groans and creaks as you all make your way inside. You can see a series of ladders and platforms leading to a hole in the northwest wall on the 3rd floor. The scaffolding looks very, very rickety. The rest of the area is covered in a lot of debris. There are broken boxes and old crates up against the east wall. You can see a torn curtain on the ground to the south. There is a square indentation in the center of the floor containing 4 pulleys attached to taut iron chains that stretch upward through a similarly sized hole in the rotting wood ceiling above you. Standing next to the chains are 4 tall clay statues. As the woman closes the door behind you and steps up to them, you see that the clay statues begins to move, but the woman sharply says a word in Elvish that means stop, and they all cease and remain still. These are the second layer of security here, the woman tells you all. This tower was built long, long ago by what my father had told me was a powerful spellcaster once in the employ of Strahd, but who didn't trust Strahd and warded this place so that only his magic could work. It's powerful enough to stop my glamour magic. I don't know about the rest of you, but I suspect you are experiencing the same thing. And it's true. The moment you all stepped through the doorway, or actually even as you stepped up towards it, because the barrier is about 5 feet around the tower itself, once you stepped into that threshold, you immediately just felt all of the magic within you just disappear. Almost as though there's something forcibly imposing itself between yourselves and your magic, if that makes sense. The woman says...
I don't like this feeling.
The woman says, "No, I do not either." It's taken me a lot to get used to it. But it's the most secure location in Barovia as far as Strahd is concerned. I never travel Barovia without having an illusion around me. If Strahd knew that I was here, if he knew who I was...
Who are you?
Who's your father?
My name is Esmeralda de Avenir. And my father is Rudolf van Richten, the alchemist.
Is that a name I would know?
I wonder, have we heard that while we've been here?
Well,
Was that's not the wizard? Well, we heard about a powerful wizard, but we don't.
you've
know
heard
if
about a wizard, you've heard about an alchemist and a swordsman. Vide,
Mhm.
that name is familiar to you. Do you remember?
Was it on that note? It was on the.
Yeah, that's what I was looking through our handouts because I remember
It is
seeing
not-
something.
I'm not sure if it was on a handout.
Was it that note that was on the thief when we first got there before somebody shot somebody else because they were short? Yeah, that's right. I'm not going to forget that moment.
It's been a week, Cog. You should have forgotten by now.
Not
No,
a
there is a
cop,
letter
no.
written to a Dr. Van Richten. It's a letter with the words "Please help" written on the envelope. That was
That's true.
but
Oh,
I
yeah, letter.
don't- yeah, I don't know if that's what you were referring to or not.
Well, that is one thing.
Oh, yeah, they were writing about Irina. Now I remember that. Yeah. Is that you, Natalie?
It is me.
Oh, do we have a surprise for you?
Oh, yeah.
Also, you have said some very delightfully adorable things during this. I hope when you watch this back, you enjoy it just as much as we did.
Oh my god, who's acting out Danika?
Who do you think? Not me. It ain't been me.
You have used 2 spells, 2 sendings to talk to Rictavio today.
Oh man.
Although.
But I suppose there
Rictavio-
is other things to talk about Rictavio. Why don't you tell us about that, Corwan?
Well, Tavio is actually Esmeralda. And they've been using like a disguised self or like kind of a glamour on themselves to look a little different.
Oh ho ho.
So yeah.
Her
So
boyfriend is a girlfriend.
mhm,
Oh
I mean
ho ho.
Cog he's already been furiously taking notes for the novella he's gonna write when this is all said and done. He's not assuming sexuality of anybody. He's assuming everybody is just like him, free love. So he's just like he's already, penciling you two in as long lost lovers that are gonna reunite at the end of this. So I'm just putting that out there myself. That's in Cog's head. He's just like, oh, this is great. These 2 girls, these 2 kids they're gonna live a long life together. He hasn't heard the earth-shattering news about Vide's betrayal by Urzak.
What did we do?
Oh, nothing. Just Urzak and Delphine. I'm just... You know how Cog's been right in his head?
Oh yeah.
He hasn't... That betrayal hasn't hit him yet, so...
I thought Vide had a real
No.
betrayal.
They didn't shoot Cog again, don't worry.
But anyway, to TLDR this, you're currently in a tower that you can't use magic in. And Rictavio turns out to be a human woman named Esmeralda, who is apparently the daughter of someone named Rudolph van Richten, who also happens to be the alchemist that you've heard about.
Oh, that's nice.
Esmeralda continues by saying, I'm not sure if you know who my father is, but the alchemist is well known as being one of the three who stood up to Strahd during Strahd's war against humanity 35 years ago. He, along with his two companions, were able to convince Strahd to cease his war and allow the human population to remain. The wizard was thrown from the tower, and my father believes him to be dead. The swordsman, I have no idea what happened to him. I can only assume he died as well. But my father was allowed to return to Mordant, to our home country. Unfortunately, several years ago, my father disappeared. He never gave up on Barovia. He traveled as much as he could, trying to find some way to deal with Strahd. And one day, on one of his journeys, he did not return. I was his apprentice. He was teaching me how to do what he did. My father was more than just an alchemist. He was a doctor. This is true. But in truth, my father is the greatest vampire hunter who ever lived. And when he did not return, I knew something happened to him. It took me long to find the trail, and even longer to follow it. In the end, I discovered that my father had been captured by Vistani and brought back to Barovia. I have no idea why, but I was able to track them down.
Natalie, the last time before we came to the tower, didn't Rictavio say that they were in the mountains?
You know what? I don't remember. I would have to look back at my notes. You gotta give me a bit. But I don't, honestly, I don't remember.
What mountains were you talking about, Dyto?
I don't think they said what mountains, just that they were in the mountains, and they would meet us back at the tower. Natalie had sent him a sending spell.
Oh, where like the temple was, right? Or I do kind of remember this.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the cathedral. He had described a cathedral.
Correct.
And you are all assuming that that was the place that you were passing by, Argenvosthold.
Oh, the one with the smoke coming out of it?
Mm-hmm. Esmeralda says, yes, that is where they're camped. They're currently camped just outside the cathedral to the south. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't sure if you were ever going to return. And so I had been looking for other avenues of approach. And that's where I was this evening. I think I might have found the mage.
The wizard in the story we talked. I mean, or who is
Yes.
the owner of this tower? Is that
No.
the same person, or
No.
different?
The mage who stood with my father.
Who might that have been? We don't know their names. We just heard there were people.
Give me a persuasion check.
Don't want to burn it yet.
It's 820, just so you know.
That's good.
With your 20, Esmeralda says, yes, my father did tell me the mage's name. He swore to me never to repeat it while we're in Barovia, but we're in the tower here, and it has to be safe. Strahd there's no way Strahd could scry in here. The name of the wizard who stood with my father was Robert Mitchell.
Oh my god, mother.
He's a great wizard from a realm far, far away from this one. And anyway, my father, as I said, believed him to be dead. But while I was in Veros, I had heard rumors of a mad mage wandering the northern woods. And so when you all didn't turn up, I decided to investigate to see if I could find this mad man wandering about. And I did catch sight of him.
You said this was the wizard that fell from the tower?
This is my belief. I don't know for certain.
I'm gonna pull out my notebook, and I'm gonna open it to. I think we can help each other out. And I'm gonna turn to.
Yep, go ahead.
The page where I have copious notes and theories on this Taroka reading.
Mm-hmm.
Could he possibly be sleeping beneath the tower in the snow?
Esmeralda thinks about that for a little bit. I don't know of any towers in the snow, but I do know of a pass that has quite a large structure. I suppose one could call it a tower. It's actually two sides of a much larger wall. But that's far to the south. That's quite a ways away, actually. I think that's Mount Baratok. Double check.
We might be looking for the same
Mount
person.
Gakis. Mount Gakis. Yeah, what could be called a tower is at the base of Mount Gakis, to the south of here. But the man that I encountered was to the north. Now, Cog, You heard you lived in Port Valena, didn't you?
Yeah, that he was. I guess he's been there. If he wasn't there, I mean, because he went around to different conclave locations, but that would be one of the ones that he probably spent quite a bit of time at. Yes.
Okay. Make for me a history check.
Could this be with advantage, perchance?
I'll allow it since you're a member of the conclave.
Oof. You know what? Since this is an important thing, that maybe I'm finally gonna kill him. I'm gonna burn the net 20.
Okay. For a total of
25, 24.
24. Okay, yeah. I'm going to say that is a name that's familiar to you. Robert Mitchell was an enchanter who owned a shop in the town of Veros, back when you lived there, good 30 years ago. He had a place called Mitchell's Marvelous Mercantile. Yep. He was a very flamboyant man who made and sold magical gear. He disappeared about 25-ish years ago. His shop burned down, and no one really saw him since. That's really all you can remember with your 24.
Well, I guess would the other group, would they have ever, mentioned encountering him?
If
in their little trip?
If so, with your 24, you have no knowledge of it.
It's like, wait, you said Robert Mitchell?
Yes, that's the name my father told me.
From L'Europa.
I don't know what this.
Does your father know the land from which he was from?
If he did, he never told me. He only said he was from another realm and was trapped here in Barovia and was trying to escape when he joined them.
He's from L'Europa, where we're from. Back during the time before the breaking, he had a shop. A shop in Port Valena. I remember it burned down. There was speculation that the Dreamer Army had something to do with it, but he disappeared. We always assumed maybe he was dead, but there was no sign of him found. Maybe somehow he got here somehow. How long ago was it that he was here? Did your father say?
The battle against Strahd happened 30 years ago.
Well, the timeline kind of fits. I'm assuming time passes. Things are weird here, so maybe time doesn't pass the same way, but yeah, it's about the same time. But no one's ever, as far as I know, people have disappeared in L'Europa before, and no trace has ever been found. I can't imagine they're all coming here, but maybe?
Well, came here, and he came here from this L'Europa, apparently. He was an enchanter.
I heard he's a pretty good one making magic items, a pretty good wizard. I always thought he was kind of an aloof character. He was kind of a little out there. A little weird. But then again, not looking at Delphine's like, a lot of you wizards are.
My hair moves on its own.
Yeah, that doesn't help your cause, sweetheart. I don't know if you know that. I just assumed he was dead. That's, wow.
Whether or not he's dead, He is most certainly insane. I
What?
tried to call out to him when I saw him. He was just a man wandering about the woods to the north near the foot of Mount Baratok. I called out to him. I called for his name. He turned and threw a fireball at me. I was barely able to dodge in time. And he screamed something about keep away from him. He doesn't want to see anyone until he finds his staff and his book. It made no sense. I called out to him. I called for him by name and asked for him to help. And he threw another fireball at me.
Yes, maybe his spell book?
I don't know.
And this was this his tower, or was this another mage's tower?
No, this has been around for centuries.
All right.
My father
interesting.
believed that it was built by the man whose name is above the door, Kazan.
Okay. All right, then. I can't... I mean, it's not I guess I don't know what's a common name anymore. We're in a different realm. But it's got to be the same guy. Yeah, this is, you know what? This is incredible. I hope we can find this individual. I hope we can get him home. Because I'm sure he's got a hell of a story to tell. And I know just the person. Kind of like do a little jig. He's got a little bit of his step back. He goes, I know just the person that can chronicle that for him. But if he's helped fight Strahd, even if they lost, I mean, we got to find them. They would be invaluable. Just the information we could get from them.
Before
He might be the guy from the reading that we're looking for.
Yeah, it's quite possible.
Before you go off searching for him, now that you're here, I could really use your help. As I said, my father is currently being held by Vistani. And yesterday, when I was observing them, I saw them meet with wild men from the south.
Probably the werewolves we ran into.
I don't know.
Yeah. We need to speak to the Vistani as well. I don't know if you remember, we had another member with us, probably the last time you met us. One of their kind killed our friend.
She looks about. The young woman you were with.
Yeah, it's a very long, weird story. It turns out they're kind of the reincarnated lover of Strahd and mother of his child.
She
But
just
still
looks at you with
I
a
know.
look like you're a fucking idiot.
I've got a couple books you need to read.
Speaking
But-
of which, you said you were searching for another book.
Yeah, Madame Ava of Vistani. I guess does Delphine have the cards? Because we kept those cards, right? Or did
No,
we
you
just
don't have
keep them?
cards. No.
Oh, she did a reading. What were they? Toka? What were those cards? Throwing you a bone? I know you got the baby. He'd like, oh, Taroka. Yeah, she did a reading for us. And said we would find something here in this tower. At least one of the cards kind of directed us here, too. So maybe we can help each other. What was it? I guess you need help getting your father. Was there anything here, or were you just kind of taking refuge here?
I've been using this place as a base of operation. It's convenient and allows me to access many roads. And it also has the added benefit of not being able to be scryed on by Strahd. She says with a little more emphasis. Like, duh.
It's like, yeah, the card said look for a tower on a lake. Let the owner's name and servants guide you to that which you seek. So we know there's something here that the tower's owner and their servant can help us find. I'm assuming the owner obviously is, was it Naven? Or
Kazan is the original owner.
Well, I'm assuming...
If you want to be technical, right now, I am in possession of this tower.
Well then, do you have a servant?
In a way, I do. I suppose we should go up to the upper floor.
Okay.
She walks over to the chains that are in the center of the room and gives them a little bit of a yank. You hear a and a and you all look up to see a cast iron box being lowered by the chains. It's an elevator.
Oh.
She says to you, it cannot hold a lot of weight. I would not, she looks over at Urzak, I would not recommend you going up at all. But those of you who are lighter can go up one at a time. The upper floor is much more sturdy. It can hold the weight, but the fastenings of this elevator are rotted. So I would recommend going up one at a time. Anyone who weighs more than a couple 100 pounds, I'd recommend not going up. She looks at you, Cog. You'll be fine.
I should hope so.
I can summon the disc so more than one person can go up at a time.
She'll point up.
Never mind, no, I
literally
can't.
just a hole.
Yeah. Plus, I think the disc's got some weird thing where it can't go above an elevation of 10 or 20
Can't.
And
feet or something.
there's no magic in the
There's
tower.
no magic.
Yeah.
Nope,
Anyway,
and there's
yeah.
no magic. So all of those things say no disc. But it doesn't take that long for people to go up. Urzak, maybe Vide might not want to go up there, but the rest of you can. But while that's happening, Danika, Esmeralda walks over to you and she gives you a smile as she says, I apologize for misleading you. I'm sure you can understand, based on the nature of my mission, I have to be very, very careful about who I trust. And I can't say anything when I'm not here in this tower that I want Strahd to not know. Because his eyes and ears are everywhere. Every conversation you can assume is being monitored, unless you're in this tower. But I was not lying to you about anything other than my true name. You are still quite cute.
Furiously writing. You just hear scratches.
It's okay. I completely understand.
She
I
gives
feel
you
like I missed so much.
she gives you a small smile and kind of squeezes your elbow as you say that. Hopefully, if we can rescue my father and
Call me Dad.
in return, we'll have more time to talk.
Well, Danika will nudge her, and she goes, well, we can talk on our way up on the elevator first. You think we'll be okay together?
Probably not.
Yeah, it's 200. You said
200
what, a couple
pounds is
hundred?
not a
200
whole lot.
something?
Yeah, and she's a muscular woman, so probably not.
It was worth a shot.
But
Like
most. Go
you
ahead.
and Cog could probably ride together.
Maybe.
Because he's only 39 pounds, so it all depends on how much you weigh.
Vide, how much do you weigh?
150.
So you could go up too if you want to. Are you going to go up or are you going to remain behind?
I'll go up.
Fair enough. The floors that you pass are pretty jacked up, I'm not going to lie. As you pass through them, you can see massive structural damage across the entirety of the floors. And each floor is pretty well bare. Once you reach the top, you see that the fourth floor, unlike the levels below, actually shows signs of recent habitation. Although the place does reek of mold and mildew, it has plenty of the creature comforts, including a cozy bed, a desk with a matching chair, bright tapestries, and a large iron stove with plenty of wood to feed it. You're all carrying torches, so you are able to see outside the windows, which does give you a pretty good bird's eye view of the surrounding areas. You can see Mount Baratok to the northeast, and you can see Mount Gakis to the south. Both mountains are covered in snow, of course, and look very uninviting. But even in the dark gloom, you can still see the silhouette. Other features of the room around you include a standing suit of armor and a wooden chest. When you step foot off of the lift and send it down again, the wood beneath your feet, the old wooden rafters, kind of shift a little bit under the weight of, well, you. It's amazing that this place is still intact. It's gotta be ancient. There are old wooden rafters above you that bend under the weight of a tower roof. And mounted on those rafters are the pulleys around which the iron chains that support the elevator hang from. You can see that this place is well lived, and not just by Esmeralda. It looks as though it's been used for quite some time, in fact. Now, once the rest of you are all up there, Esmeralda walks over to the suit of animated armor, or the suit of armor, and she says a word to it. Kazan. The moment the word is spoken, the armor shifts and moves and becomes animated. It looks about with that just hollow helmet and then settles its visor upon Esmeralda. She says, "This is the servant I was telling you about. It's been here. It was here when my father first found this location, and he was able to discern how to animate it. It'll follow commands. It'll follow the commands of whoever animates it.
All right. Well, we were told we're looking for some kind of old piece of history. Knowledge says, we're told knowledge so ancient it's hidden and forgotten. It'll help us better understand our enemy, and the tower's owner and servant can guide us to that which we seek. So we.
Esmeralda turns to the armor, and she says to it, "Find the book, the tome of ancient history that they speak of." And she kind of looks back at you and gives you a shrug, like, okay, what now? However, you're all surprised by the fact that the thing moves. It turns and walks over to a portion of the wall. It reaches out and begins manipulating something. This is the spot right behind the desk in the upper corner. And they reach out and pull a small section away of the wall. Behind it is an object, a square object, wrapped in leather.
I guess that must be it.
Danika's gonna walk towards it. Does anybody have detect magic or anything? Oh wait, there's no magic in the tower. Danika is gonna go and grab the journal to look at it.
Okay. One second here. So I gotta find you another handout. Okay. You pick up the bundle and open it up, and you find a small bundle of papers wrapped in the leather. You pull it out, and under the light of the torches, which Esmeralda does go around the room and light the torch sconces to give you all more light. I had no idea that was behind there. My father never said anything about it, she says, as she comes close to begin looking as well. And what you find is a small handful of pages, which I'm going to show you now. Does anybody want to read it for me?
I guess, yeah, I will. I am the ancient, I am the land. My beginnings are lost in the darkness of the past. I was the warrior, I was good and just. I thundered across the land like the wrath of a just god. But the war years and the killing years wore down my soul as the wind wears stone into sand. All goodness slipped from my life. I found my youth and strength gone, and I had left. All I had left was death. My army settled in the valley of Barovia and took power over the people in the name of a just god, but with none of a god's grace or justice. I called for my family, long unseated from their ancient thrones, and brought them here to settle in Castle Ravenloft. They came with a younger brother of mine, Sergei. He was handsome and youthful. I hated him for both. Yeah. From the families of the valley, one spirit shone above all others, a rare beauty who was called perfection, joy, and treasure. Her name was Tatiana, and I longed for her to be mine. I loved her with all my heart. I loved her for her youth. I loved her for her joy, but she spurned me. Old One was my name to her, elder, and brother also. Her heart went to Sergei. They were betrothed. The date was set. With words, she called me brother, but when I looked into her eyes, they reflected another name, death. It was the death of the aged that she saw in me. She loved her youth and enjoyed it, but I had squandered mine. The death she saw in me turned her from me, and so I came to hate death, my death. My hate is very strong. I would not be called death so soon. I made a pact with death, a pact of blood. On the day of the wedding, I killed Sergei, my brother. My pact was sealed with his blood. I found Tatiana weeping in the garden east of the chapel. She fled from me. She would not let me explain, and a great anger swelled within me. She had to understand the pact I made for her. I pursued her. Finally, in despair, she flung herself from the walls of Ravenloft, and I watched everything I ever wanted fall from my grasp forever. It was 1,000 feet through the mists. No trace of her was ever found. Not even I know her final fate. Arrows from the castle guards pierced me to my soul, but I did not die, nor did I live. I became undead forever. I have studied much since then. Vampire is my new name. I still lust for life and youth, and I curse the living that took them from me. Even the sun is against me. It is the sun and its light I fear the most, but little else can harm me now. Even a stake through my heart does not kill me, though it holds me from movement. But the sword that cursed sword that Sergei brought, I must dispose of that awful tool. I fear it and hate it as much as the sun. I have often hunted for Tatiana. I have even felt her within my grasp, but she escapes. She taunts me. She taunts me. What will it take to bend her love to me? I now reside far below Ravenloft. I live among the dead and sleep beneath the very stones of this hollow castle of despair. I shall shut the walls of the stairs that none may disturb me. Ooh. Juicy.
Danika's gonna clap her little hand a little, and she's gonna go, "Oh, Cog, you read so well."
Oh, wow. I have been doing it for a long time. I'm guessing this is from Strahd's perspective. It seems to be only him. Sunlight to be specific, and a sword that his brother had. Does anybody know what that could be? Would he know? I would assume it would be either him. He'd look at Esmeralda as is that something your father might have mentioned? Does he?
No, my father did not mention anything about a Sergei or a sword.
There was something, another card that talked about what we seek lies in a pile of treasure beyond a set of amber doors. And also a sword of sunlight.
There's also a weapon of vengeance.
A sword of sunlight. Maybe those two are the same thing?
That one is the treasure lies in a dragon's house. And hands once clean and now corrupted.
Wait a minute. That's the other. That's the place with where the Vistani are, isn't it? Weren't we thinking that was the dragon's place?
The monastery?
Isn't that Argynvostold, right? The one where we saw the smoke and the fires? Or
I wasn't there.
Else?
I don't know anything about smoke or fires.
Well, yeah, it was coming back from Babalai Saga. In between Babalai Saga and Veros is where it is?
Mm-hmm.
I know that there is a monastery on the map.
And it was also mentioned by the burgomaster, the ghost of the burgomaster of Aldra, that
because we have a shield.
Yeah, that they were a monastery that a holy order of knights that fought against Strahd but was ultimately destroyed. They worshipped a silver dragon, and they had its emblem on Urzak's shield.
Yeah. All right, I think the spot we're looking for, with where this might be at the same spot where these Vistani have your father, or where you believe he's there.
Well, I know where we're going next.
I mean, yeah. I can't imagine there's really any other place we should be going right now.
Hey, Cog. You still have that whole thing, right?
Oh, yeah. The portable hole, yeah.
Maybe we should throw this in here, because if this place is protected and Strahd can't see it, maybe sending it into a demi-plane, he might not know that we have it.
We'll have to do that when we get outside, because right now it's just a handkerchief. Doesn't work in here.
Probably do it in the private sanctum.
Yeah, I mean, once we get outside, we should be able to do it. I mean, we already know we already know what's in the, we know what we're looking for now, and we know some important information. We know he killed his brother. We've heard the name Tatiana before, haven't we? Have we heard somebody say that before now?
I don't think so.
Actually, the first time... No, wait a minute. No, you haven't. No.
Okay, I was trying to think. Maybe it was... What was... Yeah, maybe I'm getting mixed up with what her other name was, Lise.
Lise was the name you've known previously.
Irina, yeah. All right, yeah. Maybe this Tatiana's... Could they be alive? Said, I mean, yeah, 1,000-foot fall is going to crush every bone in your body. But they never found her body. And he says he sensed her before. Could she somehow be alive?
Well, there's room for that.
Well, I mean, whatever's keeping him alive, maybe something else is... Maybe she made a pact with something too?
I mean, I feel like anything's possible now in Barovia.
Yeah.
There is one thing I'm going to say you're going to notice with your passive history, Cog, being that the fact you're a researcher. There is a date on one of the pages of the notes, or of the journal pages, because again, it's not a full journal, it's just pages from it. But there is a number on one of them. It's 402. Y402.
I guess, well, I mean, we don't know if the years here line up.
Well, with Loropa?
Yeah.
No, but you do have a recent letter from Strahd that also has a date.
Oh, it's in our Strahd's letter. No, it's not. Oh, nope.
991.
So it's a 991?
Yep.
Well, that would make her almost 600 years old. But then again, he is over 600 years old. At least. Minimum. Because if he wrote this in 402, who knows? I mean, was this written when he became what he is now, or was this written after the fact? So he's at least 600 years old. He's got a few centuries on me, okay? At least, I'll admit it. I am no longer the oldest one in the room. He's just gonna ignore you if you look at him, Delphine. He's just gonna ignore you. He's like, yeah, sweetheart, yeah, I get it. You guys live forever. Yeah, all right. How about physically? I'm the oldest one. And yes, I know what I'm saying. Just you understand. Maybe I can find out what. Nah, I don't want to be a vampire. I was gonna say I could live forever and I read all the books, but nah, I can't do that. Although, no, I can't. He's just having a quick back and forth with himself. He's like, yeah, I could read every book ever written. All right, yeah, this is. I mean, we can find that sword. And while he says it's the only thing he fears, I don't think that's true. I think this information can be used against him. And we certainly know, just by how he has reacted, he feared Lise, Irina.
The one he sent somebody to kill.
Yes. Like I said, Lise, or Irina, was like the reincarnation, soul reborn. I don't know how to explain that, but she was his, like, I mean, if this Tatiana, he called her a love. I mean, he gave up. I mean, and he would like give her the journal of Lisa's journal, and like he gave up everything for her. And then when she died, well, things got really bad for Barovia. I don't know if that's the war they're talking about here. I can't imagine it is, because this seems to have happened before. Like his affair with Lise and his child, Alexander. Yes, he has a child. Babalai Saga, that hag, somehow she did some kind of weird, just forbidden type of magic and helped him produce a child. This is all information. I get it. It's a lot. Read that. That'll help. I think we need to get a good night rest, and then we're going to that chapel.
And I think that's probably a good place to end things for this evening. You've now learned a little bit more information, and you have actually found another one of the pieces from your Taroko reading. So
it's at least.
Congrats on
I think
that.
it's two. Is the shield the holy symbol one? The card tells of a power force for good and protection, a holy symbol of great hope.
Well, where is that?
Well, it's the second card, the Eight of Glyphs, the Bishop. What you seek lies in what you seek lies in a pile of treasure. So maybe that wasn't a pile of treasure.
I don't know.
But it was the one we found, I guess, where it said the dead town.
Yeah, I know which
that
one you're
went through
talking
something.
about there.
Yeah.
You found that in the dead town, where you also found another thing.
Yeah, the Aldra's where the journals were.
Yeah.
I don't know which journal was important, because there were two that were found, and they were both kind of important and kind of had the same.
And so is this one. They're all important.
Well, but you know what that means. You found another piece of the puzzle, which means you get to level up.
Yay!
Yeah, let's go.
So that's always
Ooh,
fun.
That was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, level 5 spells. Level 5 spells.
Okay. Well, good job, everybody. You survived another day in Barovia. You've leveled up, and you have another piece of the puzzle, which is definitely a good thing. You have an idea of another thing to go looking for, and some more clues to consider. So, well done. As always, I first want to say thank you to everyone who watched this evening. We very much appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with us. Come back in 2 weeks to find out what our heroes do with their new pal Esmeralda and the information they have. They're going after Esmeralda's dad, it sounds like, so that should be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and go around the table real quick and have everybody tell us who they are and where we can find them on the internet. And Joe, you're the one that did the recaps. Why don't you go ahead and go first?
Well, I am Joe. I have been Corwan Oliver Goodwood tonight. You can also find me on the same Monday, or the Monday, same week as this. So we didn't do it a couple days ago. Matt just wasn't feeling well, and I think somebody else wasn't. So
yeah,
we weren't able to go. But in 2 weeks, that one should be also interesting. We're going to finally take on our first jobs from the Rock of Brawl. We're going to maybe find out if the little bastard that's the harbor master, the dock master, is stealing from people. It's going to be fun. Fun on a bun. I'm Blood from Stone on Twitter. Lots of Met stuff recently. If you look at that, conservatives making fun of them.
Mm.
If you enjoy either one, come say hi.
Natalie, why don't you go next?
I play Danika here every other Wednesday if I'm lucky. But yeah, you can find me here on Random Rhapsody. Thank you.
Right on. Brandie, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Brandie. You can find me here every other Wednesday playing Vide, and then the following Monday playing Mako in the Aether Tech Wars. Otherwise, I'm on all the socials as @RiverDragon82. That's River with a Y. And that's about it.
Yeah. Dyto, you're up next.
Hello, I'm Dyto. You can find me here on Wednesday and also alternating Mondays with Brandie doing Aether Tech Wars.
And you're GMing a game soon.
That's right, I am. I am GMing a game on the 27th. I'm going to be doing Monster of the Week, and yeah, the group is being punished for past shenanigans, so they're on a babysitting mission.
Yeah, that tracks. Going to be a lot of fun. Well, as always, I am Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and game master here on the Random Rhapsody Network. You can find me every Monday and Wednesday running crazy games for crazy people. It's always a lot of fun. Hope you had a lot of fun watching us on all of this. You can find me on the tweets and the socials as @ScruffyWanderer. I tend to not do as much as I used to. I'm just focusing on this network and all the stuff we do here, but I'm around. You can find me occasionally. You'll find me next month over on All on the Table. I'm playing Pathfinder that day. It's going to be the second Saturday of the month. And yeah, that's always a lot of fun. So come check that out. It's November the 9th at 3:30 Central Time. Yeah, so on behalf of everyone here in Curse of Strahd and everyone in the Random Rhapsody crew, I just want to say thank you, folks. It's been a delight. So long. Good luck. And until next time, may you live until you die.
Until you die.
And good night, everybody.